Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take Aquatica and add a random game mechanic into it. And so for those of you who haven't seen these videos before, what we do is we jump over onto this screen and we will spin our wheel of mechanics. Mute our computer so it's not super loud. And what did we end up with? Still spinning. Alright, we got auction. Nice. So we are taking Aquatica and adding an auction system in it. Auction. Let's work on improving our handwriting. And so what we'll do from here is we'll pull up our handy dandy phone timer and give us a 5-minute time limit. 5-minute time limit to try to ideate how we would add an auction system into Aquatica. So let's get started. So auction, I'm sure you're familiar with, there's some form of bidding that will happen. And so if we start by redrawing the scoring board, I think how we would do this is instead of like the end game scoring being like first to do this, first to do that, first to do this, first to do that, for those of you who aren't familiar with Aquatica, there are 4 scoring conditions that will trigger the end of the game. And so instead of having that, we would have, I would take something like that and make we probably relate these to the different location colors. So if we have our little reference material, so each location has a color associated to it. So the spots up here would be associated to the different colored locations. So we got blue, white, red, and orange. And there would be the same sort of victory point conditions of whoever has the highest gets 8, 5, 3, 3, 3, because you can play it up to 5. So each of those would have the scoring condition the same as well. This is probably going to take just as much time to copy and paste as it is to actually just rewrite them out, but we want to play with our technology, so we'll do it this way. But the scoring condition, instead of placing mana rays, wouldn't be set until the end of the game. And so when you cash out a one of your cards that have the victory points here, you can forego the victory points to place the symbols up there for the coloring. And potentially we would add more of these colored location symbols to it. And so how it would happen is you would place, let me jump back to the second screen. You would place the cards, gotta go back to our pen tool. Don't need that there. But you would place the cards secretly here instead of for scoring purposes. And I guess how would we do that? Because you need to know who owns it. So instead of placing them there, we would just tie into the little treasure spot that each of the boards have. So this would be your little player board with the spots for the cards. So we got our spots for our cards, and you would be doing a blind select collection for area majority into whoever has the most for the colors would get the additional victory points. I think that's where we'd end up. And so we got about 50 seconds left. I think I'm gonna pause it there because we were able to get an idea done in less than 5 minutes. And so to recap, our challenge was to get a auction style into Aquatica. We didn't end up with quite an auction, but it's sort of like a hidden area control endgame scoring. So instead of placing out your mana rays to trigger the end of the game for the scoring conditions that are in base game Aquatica, so you have these preset scoring that you can modify for endgame bonus points. We would make it so that each of the locations are for a color of a, or each of the scoring endgame scoring criteria is based on a color of a location that you've conquered. And so the normal version of Aquatica ends in 3 possible ways. One being somebody completes all 4 of those sections. The second being they're running out of the locations deck. Third being run out of the character deck. Our decision would be to remove the endgame scoring location as an, or endgame condition as one of the triggers. And so the game would end when one of the 2 decks run out. And you would reveal whoever has the most of different locations would be essentially their auctioning to win the majority in that. So it's more of an area majority, but it's like a hidden, it's like, I guess, a blurred line of blind or a hidden auction versus a area majority, because you can kind of keep track of the locations that players have had on their board and know if you want to go for more white to compete for the white bonus or not, would be the idea that I ended up with from this challenge. So how I'd test this is the next time I was playing Aquatica with a group, what I would need to do is create the scoring board. And so I would probably remove one of each of the locations. I'd probably do the ones like this because they seem to always get passed over because there's no bonuses and there's no real victory points to them. I'd pull out each one of these cards and I would place them on, we actually have the expansion board. So I'd place them on the expansion board to show the different areas that you can go over. And I'd tell everyone that instead of playing with the standard victory point conditions, it would be whoever has the majority gets 8, 5, 3, etc. And I'd go over that scoring rule set for them, and we would try it out that way to see if Aquatica is more fun with that hidden auctioning area control method. Aquatics is a great game, so I don't know that it would be one that I would choose to insert this house rule into, but that would be, for the sake of the challenge, how I would be going about adding auctioning to Aquatica. If you have other ideas of how you could add an auction system into Aquatica, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And if you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.